Hey
Hey,
girl,
hey, what's up?
how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You're looking cute. Where are you right now? What state are you in?
I'm in Atlanta right now.
You're in LA, okay, and it's like 5 p.m., right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good, 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 good. Dope, 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 dope. Thanks for joining the live.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Basically, I discovered your song, Blessed Up, like a couple months ago. And from that moment, I just like bang that song, bang that song so bad. And I didn't really checked up the artist behind the song. I was just like listening it every morning. And I was just like, okay, let me just check out this girl. And I did like recently. And I was just like, oh, wow, okay, like she's actually dope. I really rate her. I really rate what you're doing. And I feel like because we have the same vision and the
Hmm.
same like kind of mission, I just wanted to like link up and see, just get to know you a bit.
Yeah,
So yeah, how's things going? How's music?
yeah. I mean, music's been pretty lit. I'm actually gonna be dropping a new song soon, so stay tuned
Yes.
for situations. And then like we have a tour that's actually coming up like with our label, and so that's in like two weeks. So March
Okay, cool.
month it's gonna be a lot of situations, but overall music has been cool. I think I've been focusing a lot on rapping now, so I'm gonna be dropping like a lot more like rap songs, and so I think that's like my vibe lately.
What was you singing as well?
Yeah, so I enjoy singing. So like my biggest thing is like I enjoy so many things, so it's like what do I want to do? So
Yeah.
my biggest thing is like I've been trying to like crack down on like let me focus on one thing for like 6 months. So I think for the next like 6-ish months I'm gonna like focus on like rapping.
Okay, and then the next is singing, singing, and then the
Yeah.
next. Fair enough. So how did you? Because now, okay, so I'll rate the fact that you're like a Christian rapper.
Hmm.
So I assume you're Christian. So
Yeah.
like, how did that all started? Like, yeah, talk to me a bit about like the start of that journey and stuff. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
tell.
It's actually pretty wild. So I found out that I could rap in school actually. So whenever I was in school, I had a project for biology, and my teacher was like, "Hey, like we're gonna do a project on cellular transport, and you can do a PowerPoint or an essay presentation about cellular transport." And she was like, "But I'm gonna mix it up. If you want, you can do a rap instead." And in my head, I was like, "This is the easiest option. Why would you do an essay when you can rap?" And so I
Oh
chose
wow.
and yeah, that's kind of like how my life changed from that point. So I showed my friends and they were like, "Oh wait, this is like actually really good, like really good." And so that's how I realized like, "Oh, I kind of enjoy this. This is kind of like lit." And I
Yeah.
noticed that like it got a lot of people's attention. So I just noticed like people were very like enthralled with it, and I was like, "This is like not normal." And so from then I was passionate about my faith, and I just basically combined the two where I started rapping and talking about my faith through the raps.
So when you started music, you straight away went into Christian music. You didn't have like that phase where you just did music. Because me, I started doing just music, and
Yeah.
then on I decided, okay, let me just use my God gifted talent with like my faith. But that was like long after. Like first it was just like music, like normal music that you just hear, you know.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I think if I never like gave my life to God, I probably would have never considered rapping. Like that was never in my plans of life. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor. Like I planned to like be a surgeon. Like that was my normal plan. And then God was like, oh no,
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay, so that's actually cool. That's actually cool. So have you toured like anywhere else, like in Europe and stuff? Have you?
so actually, see, I had all these plans to do all these dope situations in Europe and like Africa, and that's literally when Corona started. So like I really started my career like full force like in 2019. That's whenever I got like a legitimate fan base, and then I had dropped my album 2020 in April, and literally right after I dropped my album, like the week after I shot my music video, for the song I have called Happy, United
Mhm.
States shut down. And they were like, everything is locked down, no travel, no nothing. So literally, like when I dropped my first project, that's whenever like I no longer had the ability to do all those situations. And so I would
Yeah.
say now in the USA is like now when people are feeling comfortable doing tours, which is even why our label, like why they're even doing a tour, because they're like, okay, like this is not going away. It's been like 2 years now. So I would say like now it's gonna whenever I'm gonna start beginning to do like international situations.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like a work in progress, and it's definitely not as easy now because a lot of people are
Yeah.
not willing to take risks as much because they're scared of like, oh, I don't want to be involved in anything that might happen with that. So I would say it's not as easy as it might have been in the past.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, cool. Well, when you're in London, shout me and I'll come see you. There for girl. There for
Yeah,
there
we
for. I see that you did that remix with Mike Todd. That was lit, man. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I actually randomly met Mike Todd on like FaceTime because he was making a song with one of my friends. Um
Okay.
and so then V Rose was like, "Oh, we need to call Wande for this track. Like I think she'd be really good for this song." So then that's how we met virtually. And then we had known each other for a song like I did for him. And then fast forward, I was working on Blessed Up Remix and I was like, "Man, I want like an inspirational message on the track and like who would be perfect for that?" Mike Todd. And so then he
Oh,
like agreed.
rapper. Like I think it was just like that typical preacher, like pastor. No, that's cool. That's actually
Yeah.
cool. So, why did you grow up in a Christian family?
It was like it's a complicated story, but it's basically like half and half. So like my mom was a Christian, but my dad was like really not about that life, like at all. And so my dad was a Muslim, and like everybody else in my family is Muslim as well. So
Oh,
it was like a split situation.
yeah. So, did you have to like decide at some point which?
Yeah, so I think growing up, dad was like, "Oh, I want these kids to have like good morals." So he would like let us go to church. But then like after I like legitimately gave my life to Jesus, then he was like, "I don't like this. I don't like this. You're kind of too serious about this." So it was like a weird tension period where he like didn't want me to go to church and like stuff like that. And like that's whenever I really had to decide for myself, like, do I want to follow Jesus for myself or not? And so like that was around my eighth grade year. And
Yeah.
so after that, that's whenever I had to go hard for my faith because I mean it was like either you're doing it or you're not, and so that was whenever I decided to like actually follow God for myself and like legitimately go
Was it a
into.
bit then to have like obviously your dad not, supporting that decision, like, or maybe like friends around you, like, did you find it a bit difficult?
Yeah, I definitely think it was difficult. It was definitely really hard at first, but like I feel like I was so passionate about it that I was like, man, I want to learn more about God. I want to see more about who he is. And so luckily my mom, like she real intense. Like if you know me, like I'm a really like if I have a goal, I'm gonna figure out a way to make it happen. So my mom like she's kind of like that too. And so she was like really willing to like help me figure it out. And so she was a nurse. And so like basically nurses in America, like they have to work every other weekend at the hospital. And so the weekends that she wasn't working, she would let me go to church with her. But whenever I was working under my dad's care, then she would take me to work with her at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then my
Yeah.
uncle would pick me up so then I could go to church and stuff. So it was definitely a difficult situation. But,
Yeah.
I think my dad saw how serious I was and he was like, you know what, this girl, she really about this life. So
Yeah.
whatever.
More into that or not even?
Hmm?
Is he a bit more into all of that now or still not?
I think he's inquisitive. I think he's seen like all God's done in my life and he's kind of like maybe God is real.
Mhm.
But I think because like his whole family is like Muslim, it's not easy. Like that's a real like pride situation, especially Nigerian. Nigerian men can be really prideful. So like that's a really like deep internal thing that he has to deal with, I think, where he has to like be willing to like tell his whole family, hey, I think we're all wrong. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh God.
The more he's gonna see God like acting in your life, being present and the things he's doing in your life, he's just gonna be like, oh wow, like he's actually doing bits. I might just wanna
Yeah.
like join
It's
this thing.
like,
Jump
oh,
on the thing. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, you said that you was like you started at school, music
mhm,
basically. That's when you discovered your talent, let's
mhm.
say. So did you ever feel like maybe you couldn't really talk too much about your faith in your music because maybe your housemates, your schoolmates would be a bit like, what's she talking about? Like, what is she doing? Like, she's rapping, okay, cool, but like, what is she talking about? Like, do
Yeah.
you ever feel pressured or like limited?
It's interesting. I feel like because rap is the way it is and it's just so hype. I feel like that was the one place where I felt like I could be bold. I feel like if you're going to be a rapper, period, you have to be a bold human to rap. And so I feel like just the style of rapping, because I just noticed, like how I said earlier, how it enthralls people. Like people are just so like, wow, like how are you doing that? Um, I think that's why I was so confident now to be like, this is really capturing your attention. I'm gonna just say what I want to say. And
Yeah.
so that encouraged me to be even more bold about my faith because they were going to listen to it regardless type stuff.
So you didn't feel like it pushed some people away from listening to you because you were talking about God so much?
Yeah, I think it's in an opposite sense. I think God has been showing me a lot. Like people are actually really open minded to an extent. So people were actually really down to hear it. And they're like, hey, man, you talking about God, but it sounds cool to me. And I'm like, we love to see it.
Yeah, I feel like, to be honest, in US, people are like, a lot of them are Christian anyway. Like I feel like 70% of them are like Christian in US. So
Yeah.
I feel like your surrounding or your audience is already more open to hear God on a general basis, like
Yeah.
compared to in like Europe or UK. Like it's kind of tough to like break into that thingy. I feel like it's difficult. People are not ready to hear Jesus there, Jesus here, Jesus like they're not.
They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah.
Hold on a minute, but like yeah, just have to like not give a shit to be fair,
Mhm.
like just do your thing. So that's cool. I saw your music video. I think it was Woo.
Mhm.
Ask you, have you ever been like not criticized, I wouldn't say, but like judged or have like bad opinions towards like the way you look as a Christian? Like have you ever heard like you
Oh
don't look
yeah.
yeah, like you don't look like a Christian girl, like what is this? Like you're dancing, like you in a skirt, like whatever, you're doing your thing. Like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
do you feel about that?
Like funny because I would say out of like all the Christian rapper girls, I'm probably the least risque, if that makes sense. And
Yeah,
I'm still catching heat from people. Like some people are like, oh, like you care too much about yourself, or people are just never satisfied. Like if I wear my hair like this, they're like, oh, you should have your hair in an afro. If I wear my hair in an afro, they're like, oh, she didn't try it. She should have done something else with her hair. If I like wear a nice outfit, they're like, oh, she's vain. The Bible says don't be vain. But then if I wear a casual outfit, they're like, oh, wow, she's wearing a casual outfit. Why didn't she wear something more fancy? So at the end of
yeah.
the day, you have to life honestly. So, and
It's
just,
so hard, because recently I literally like got posted on a big blog page, and it was like just a little trailer of me promoting my song, and I was wearing a full legging like jumpsuit. The way I got like clashed back, like seriously, oh, what is she doing? That's not even gospel. She's wearing leggings, like, and I just feel like, oh, right, like I need to be like, you know, thinking
mhm.
about online. It made me so like overthinking. What am I doing? Is this wrong? Am I showing like a wrong image? And I wasn't like vulgar or anything, but I was literally just in some leggings, you know?
Mhm.
And people were like, yeah, but you Christian, you shouldn't be doing that. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I think my overall thing is I just kind of look at like, am I covering my body per se? So like, I think my biggest way is am also like, so I think step one, I look at my intentions. Are my intention in wearing this outfit like being the best version of myself? Because I feel like being the best version of yourself is a way to honor God. Kind of like there's
Yeah.
like talents, like with whatever God gives you, you need to execute that at your highest capacity. And so I look at level one, like, am I executing his ability to give me creativity in the area of fashion? Am I executing that to the best ability, or am I being like that person in the parable of the talents that hid their talents and then the master was like, wow, you're so wicked? So that's level one, where I'm like, am I actually doing this for me, or am I doing this because I'm trying to like get somebody's attention?
Yeah.
um then level two, um personally, like I just like try to cover my body for the most part. So like I try to cover like, my boobs and stuff like that. And so that's kind of like the main thing I think that gets people attention. I think some people feel some type of way about crop tops too. That's an area of controversy. So those are like the two areas in which I like try to maintain covered. But other than that, I feel like for the most part, it's like if I'm covered, like there really should be no smoke. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the main thing. But I try not to wear too like super, super, super tight clothing. But other than that, like, yeah, let's live on
Yeah.
earth.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me it was also like, oh, but you're wearing all these brands and all that. Like you shouldn't really be wearing like even designer bits and stuff. Like not that I'm rolling on money and everything I wear
Yeah.
is designer at all, but like if I have like one or two pieces that I managed to go and stuff and I'm wearing it because I just
Mhm.
want to wear it, I feel like people would look at me like, yeah, but you Christian, like what are you doing? You shouldn't really show materialistic stuff.
Yeah.
Like what's your thought on that? Because I feel like, as you said, like God reads your heart as well. If you're just wearing it just to show that you're better than others, obviously like that's the wrong way of wearing those things. But if you just want to feel good about what you have and just like be proud of what you're earning and like you work hard to get certain things, like what's your thought on that as well?
Yes, I really think it does go back to intention. So, like, which sucks because one day you could be just really loving high fashion, and one day you might, get caught up. So, I think like you have to like fight to internally stay like humble all the time. But I
Yeah.
think for me, it's just like if you appreciate high fashion, wear the high fashion, bro. I think if you're using it to flex on people, then that's a no. But like, if you really are just like, man, I really like aesthetically pleasing things. My friend is a designer, or I appreciate this design, and it's like I like to carry myself well, then wear the designer things. I think that's not a problem because I think on the opposite side, it can influence people to aspire for more. Of like, wow, this is nice to see somebody successful and thriving. Like, I want to make more money in my life, and now I'm seeing it's possible. So I think also for the receiving end, some audience members need to check their hearts where they're not like, oh, you think you're better. It's like, why do you think that I think that I'm better? Why don't you say like, oh, this is inspirational. Maybe I should aspire for more in my life. Like, so I
You know,
think mutual.
yeah, for real. It's like when you see pastors preaching online and they're all like wearing some nice clothes. People, I feel like they take them less seriously for some reason. Like you just need to be like, if you're a pastor in their head, you just need to be like plain black, white t-shirt, jean, and like no branding. But I just feel like it's a modern days like right now. Like if he's living well and he's doing what he needs to be doing and his heart is pure, like there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
I feel like most people don't talk about like there's people who are like maybe the most prominent pastors who they would use as their example. And the reason they dress plain is because they don't know how to dress well. Like, so there's
That,
this is
that's
too cool. I'm not creative like you kids. I'm gonna wear my t-shirt and call it a day. So a lot of those pastors are like, wow, if I could dress nice like y'all, like I would do it too. So
yeah.
sometimes people compare us to like people who dress plain, and the people who dress plain want to dress fancy, but they just don't have confidence in that particular area.
No, that's true too, girl. That's definitely true. That's definitely
Mhm.
true. You sometimes feel like because you're a gospel artist or Christian, how do you call yourself actually? When people ask you, I just want to know because sometimes it's a bit long.
Yeah, honestly, I'm all of the above, but I usually kind of go by Christian rapper, but it's like, hey, you want to call me a gospel rapper? That's cool. Want to call me a rapper? That's cool. So I'm basically all of the above. That's all it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I say gospel R&B artist.
Hmm.
That's how I say it. But yeah, I just wanted to know how you describe yourself.
Hmm.
But do you feel like being a Christian rapper, you have like a lot of pressure of being that perfect image online? Like you can't slip up, basically, because
Hmm.
people. I'm not saying that Christian in general, like Christian people in general, are like judgmental, but I feel like they are more likely to be like, like but
I would
waiting.
say, yeah, you put yourself now into a new more. It's kind of like with the pastor example, right? Like if you see your pastor acting crazy, you're gonna be like, "What you? What are you doing?" And
Yeah,
so we're not pastors. I feel like people hold us to like a pastoral standard in
yeah,
terms of how we wear ourselves, but we get the luxury of maybe like being able to wear normal clothes. But I think people kind of hold us to a pastoral standard whenever you put the term Christian rapper upon yourself. So I think to an extent, like, if you're gonna step into leadership, period, like it just comes with the territory. So you need a if you're gonna be a leader, you have to, hold yourself accountable and you have to have certain standards in your life. But I
definitely.
also think like, I think back to like high school, right? Before I had like actual fans, I was just living my life. Like I was still fully saved, but there was nobody coming at me crazy just for living life.
Yeah.
If I wanted a selfie, I wanted to post a selfie. But I
And I feel
think
like
yeah.
growing out in Christ, we're all like on the journey. Like we're
Hmm.
not still learning from stuff like what should we do, like what should we not do and stuff like that. So I feel like because I'm also still learning and I will always be learning. That's why I even added to my bio like recovering from the world, learning from the world. Like I'm still
Yeah.
learning. Guys don't expect me to like know everything, like to know exactly how to do everything in life. But obviously I'm trying to be the best version of myself and to have Christ in my life and to show people how is to live with Christ in your life. But it's always like you never know, you could slip, but
Hmm.
like slip like in a bad way, but we all learning. So
Yeah.
I feel a bit pressured about that as well for
Yeah, that's
some
very
reason.
true. Yeah, nobody's perfect. We just all out here, living.
Yeah, living. Yeah. So what, you read your Bible every day?
Oh, I try. Some days I'm like, look, God, it's gonna be the music today. But
Yeah.
for the most part, like I try to like hit that streak, be consistent with reading. But it's not easy, Some days I'm like, I personally don't like reading, honestly. I'm not a reader like that.
That's
And
what
so
I do.
yeah, because of that, it's like, look, God, I'm doing this for you.
For real. I
Yeah.
hate distracted quickly. Sometimes I'm on that same page. You see, sometime in the Bible, there's like bits that I'm not gonna say it's annoying or boring, but like it's like just like descendants and they're just saying bare names and bare like this comes from this and he comes from this and it's just like getting just
Well,
like distracted.
that's crazy about that part. So this year I was like, oh God, I want to try to like actually do like that whole Bible in a year situation. So I
Yeah,
will say because I started doing that, it's still not easy. That's not easy. So I have missed a lot of days. But I will say doing that Bible in a year plan, listening to it on audio and stuff,
Yeah.
Now that part is very more interesting once you like have listened to like maybe like 10 chapters consecutively.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So then you get to that chapter, you're like, oh, that was that person's son who played this person. Oh,
Oh
this
my,
person
yeah.
was this. And so all those names start making more sense. And then that part becomes way more interesting of like, oh, like that's wild that all these
Yeah.
people were connected. I remember like what popped off in their life type stuff.
Yeah, but then if someone asks me, "Oh, what's the story about this guy?" I'm just like, "Okay, wait. He comes from that. I need to like find it." It's long, man. But yeah, I'm actually doing that challenge as well with my cousin. I started like December 2021. So I feel like I've read like 12 or 15% of the Bible so far, and I should be done next year, like December. So,
Yeah,
girl,
I
I know
tried.
what
I've read
about.
the, but I'm trying to like now do it like as an adult. So I feel like from Sunday school, at
Yeah,
some point, I probably consume the whole Bible. But then I'm like, let me like kind of like with even like with Africa, right? Like I'm like I was born in Nigeria and I went back when I was a kid, but now I'm like, oh, I want to experience it like as an adult. Like I want to go back and do that situation.
yeah, that's cool. So are you reading with someone? Like, is it a challenge by yourself or how
Yeah,
does
I'm
that work?
kind of doing it. Oh, so I'm hitting that audio. The audio book has been changing my life. So I
Yeah,
actually listened chapters this morning. I was like, let me get back on this streak a little bit.
yeah,
So yeah, I usually use the audio to like help me get through it, and so it makes it way more attainable. It's like, oh yeah, I can listen to an audio for 30 minutes because like I love YouTube, so I'm like I can watch YouTube videos for hours. So let me just listen
yeah.
to like 15 minutes and get these chapters in.
Yeah. Do you find yourself sometimes missing or skipping a day and you're just like, oh, it feels weird because you're so used to like listening all the time that whenever you're so busy and you don't maybe manage to listen it, you're just like,
Mhm.
oh, this is missing in my routine, in my life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely times I miss. I miss a lot of days. So I would say I just try not to beat myself up too much, and even
Yeah.
that's the thing I've been working on with God. Like, what is sustainable? Because I'm like, it's not sustainable for me to wake up every day for the rest of my life and be like, oh, I'll read 30 chapters every day for the rest of my life. I like this is not gonna work. So I've been even working on like with God, like what is a sustainable relationship look like? So it's like. Is it music? Is that how me and God connect? So is it like, oh, some mornings are going to be worship music, and that's how we're gonna vibe for the day, and it's gonna be like kind of worship, or and
Yeah.
then maybe Tuesdays are gonna be like actual deep studies of reading, and then Wednesdays are something else, and so yeah,
And and just talking to God as well. Like he's just my friend, like my mate. I could just gossip or not really gossip, but like talk about my day to
hmm
him. Like that was always like a way of communicating with him and feel close to him as well.
yeah,
Um, that's cool. Yeah. So hold on. Bare messages. I just feel like I can't read everything at the same time.
oh yeah.
But yeah, that's quite cool. Hold on. So what's your next what's in the pipeline for you?
So next I have a new song dropping, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. I like
Yeah,
that song. It's a really lit rap song, so that's what's coming up.
yeah,
It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then other than that, tour, and the tour about to be lit, so we're gonna make sure we get some video footage to post on the gram. But we're
yeah.
gonna turn. I've been studying some goats. I've been studying Beyonce.
I
It's
see you dancing, girl. You're a dancer as well, not just rapper. Yeah,
yeah.
swimming.
So it's gonna be lit. The tour gonna be popping. We're gonna have some dance breaks. We're gonna have some rapping. It's gonna be a good situation. And yeah, God finally gave me what I needed to say. That was the biggest thing holding me up with like figuring out my tour set. Because I was like, let me not just throw songs. I was like, let me ask God like, what is the message for the people? So I think He finally really gave me a vision for the night. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
lit.
yeah, sick, sick. So would you say that music is like your ministry, basically?
Yeah, basically. So it's the ministry that kind of drives everything else. But yeah, definitely music is the ministry.
Do you have any other ministry that you feel
I was
like?
I think God gave me a gift in terms of teaching and encouraging people. So
Yeah,
anytime I help people, I usually try to help them. I started this thing called Bibly. So on there, like I gave away for people to encourage each other with like prayer circles and like stuff like that. But then I also offer like classes where I like teach artists once a month and stuff like that. And so I would say like that's kind of like what I do outside of music.
any type of artist? Sorry,
You said, I'm sorry, what?
any type of artist that you like, kind of give advice to, or more
Um,
like the same vision, the same like in your lane with you and like stuff.
it's like diverse. So I mean, somebody was an EDM, somebody was a rapper, like So it's kind of like any walk of life, but if you're trying to like do artist work professionally, as in music artistry professionally, then like
Yeah.
essentially that's what I'll teach on. And so like next month I'm going to be teaching on branding. And so we basically cover like different courses. Like 1 month will be marketing, one will be branding, one will be how to record yourself. So we just kind of cover different topics, and then people who want one-on-one, there's like another level for that, and so stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Do you produce your music as well, or you work with like producers?
So this next song that I got dropping, I actually produced like 50% of it. So that's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit, beat. But I definitely work with producers. Like I have my go-to producers. This one producer, Jesse, like we work together like probably the most. And so me and him teamed up again to work on this song. And so then I was like, oh, I have some ideas. So then I like flipped the beat a little bit. And so yeah, it's gonna be a lit situation. But
Do you play
yeah.
instruments
I actually do. I play the flute. Very random, but yeah,
like
I'm
that?
actually really good. I need to buy myself a flute. One day when I have just like extra money, I need to just buy a flute for fun.
Yeah, just record yourself, do a little TikTok.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, girl, thank you. I really enjoyed this live and getting to know you. I'll definitely stay in touch with you and follow up your next release. Is there music video soon as well?
That's a mystery to me and you. So we gonna see. We gonna
Okay.
see. I'm not even capping. It's a mystery. So we might not. I don't know. It depends.
Fair, 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 fair. Okay, cool. Well, good luck with everything. Do you have any like anything you want to say, like any tips actually, or any like word of wisdoms to all the girls in the chat or something?
uh, Yo, what's up, everybody? Shout out to y'all for joining. I think I always encourage y'all, use this month to do whatever you said you wanted to do. So if you've been planning and you've been saying, yeah, I want to do this, I want to drop these type of videos, blah, 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 and you've been planning, start actually doing it. So I would just say, be who you want to be, forget the haters, live your best life.
Hey, sick. All right. God bless you, girl. Thank you for this. It was a lovely chat. I really enjoyed that. And I'll stay in tune with you. Yeah.
I'll
Go
see
and
ya.
follow the girl guy in London one
Yes.
day.
And go follow her too. All right.
See you, girl. Bye.